A very, very happy Diwali to all our viewers. Wherever you are in India, have a safe Diwali and have a prosperous one, and may God bless you. Viewers, we're talking about another battle bonanza, a battle royale, the Diwali of Diwalis as far as elections is concerned. The second biggest Indian state with the second highest number of parliamentarians, and also the financial capital of India nestled right along its coast. Viewers, we are talking about Maharashtra, the prestige battle. The stage is set in Maharashtra. All the nominations have been filed. The voters know who they will be voting for in a few weeks. The two Maha-alliances, the Mahayuti and the Maha-Vikas Aghadi, have hit the ground and are vying to outpace each other to the finish line. If you go purely by the poll data, the Congress party-led Maha-Vikas Aghadi seems to have an advantage, an edge over the BJP-led Mahayuti, even though, viewers, in the just concluded Lok Sabha elections, the vote share difference between the Mahayuti led by the BJP and the Maha-Vikas Aghadi led by the Congress was wafer thin. There was hardly anything to choose between them. But that didn't mean that one on its day, on that particular day, was not actually leading in the Vidhan Sabha. And I'll give you a little bit of a breakup. If you purely look at it as a numbers contest, in June 2024, the MVA won 30 of the 48 Lok Sabha seats that were up for grabs, while the Mahayuti won just 17 of them. And that is also a reason, viewers, why the NDA could not reach, or the BJP could not reach the halfway mark in the Lok Sabha. The NDA also underperformed. The MVA in Maharashtra, 9 out of 15 seats where the victory margin was 5% or less. As I told you, it was a close call, but the MVA did very well in those close calls. The Lok Sabha 2024 result, when you project it onto the assembly map, then you see, viewers, that the MVA is leading. You can see on your screens in 153 seats. The Mahayuti led on 126 seats. So, because the halfway mark is 145 out of 288 seats, it's quite clear that the MVA, in its present composition, would have formed the government with a degree of comfort. About 46% also of the Dalits backed the MVA in the 2024 Lok Sabha elections. All of this, of course, viewers, is post-poll data that was collected by CSDS. 55% of the tribal voters also backed the MVA, while 35% backed the Mahayuti. So the two important chunks, the SC vote, the ST vote, these, viewers, drifted away from the NDA or the Mahayuti. 72% of Muslims consolidated behind the MVA in with the national trend. That was the national trend across India, and it had. So in a sense, viewers, in a large number of seats, the MVA starts with an advantage. The BJP has lost 3% of the SC vote to NCP and Congress over 2014 and 2019. So it's a trend which only got exacerbated in the 2024 Lok Sabha elections. Of course, I'm talking about the 2014 and the 2019 assembly polls, and we'll just have to see, viewers, if this trend continues. The BJP will hope that it doesn't, but if it does, there's going to be a bit of a problem. But sometimes numbers don't matter as much as perception. It is here that the Mahayuti, at this moment in time, the Mahayuti or the NDA might steal an advantage over the MVA. And why are we saying this? Will the perception of the Mahayuti being on a bit of an upswing because of the BJP's changed circumstances after Haryana and Jammu have some sort of a effect on the cadre. Well, Haryana and Jammu state poll results cements the BJP's upper hand over the Congress in direct fights also. And this means that in the 100 or so contests where the Congress is going to be up against the BJP, it might be the Congress that emerges more battered and bruised. Provided, of course, the vote transfer takes place, that is the Ajit Pawar faction of the NCP and the Shinde Sena, its vote transfers to the BJP en bloc. That remains to be seen, but the alchemy is in place. BJP has made 3 payouts under a vital scheme to gain favor of women voters who play a major role. And this, at the end of the day, might be, as many people think, the game changer. RSS BJP perception of difference has dissipated post the Haryana and Jammu polls. So the BJP comes in more cohesive with the Sangh engine, the very important vote management engine, firing on all cylinders. Traction for batenge to katenge narrative may make it difficult for the MVA, the Maha Vikas Aghadi led by the Congress, to split the BJP traditional votes. Remember, in the 2024 Lok Sabha election, there was a great fear that the BJP wants to secure 400 seats, change the constitution and get rid of quotas. That, viewers, that one plank that the India Alliance was really pushing is now not visible. There's also squabbling over seat allocation in the Maha Vikas Aghadi, the Congress-led MVA. It has raised apprehension of instability among voters. What will happen if they come to power? There's also muted anti-incumbency. Let me just say, anti-incumbency, no one really has an advantage here, as the Mahayuti is not a full-term sarkar, not a full-term government. Remember, viewers, that for about a year and a half to 2 years, the MVA was also in power. There's a mega infra push in Maharashtra, which has deprived the MVA of a plan to hurt the Mahayuti. That really is the common consensus. But let's ask some of the experts, let's ask some of the stakeholders where they are putting their money. How are they dissecting this anticipated battle, which will be, let me tell you, viewers, transformative. Because if the NDA were to lose Maharashtra, it would A, be out of power in all major metros in India. It would not be the dominant government in any major metro. Plus, obviously, it will change dynamics within the NDA also. Because once again, doubts over the efficacy of the NDA's message will come into question. But I'm not going to hog this space. Let's open this up. Neerja Chaudhary, senior journalist, has written a book on how prime ministers decide, bestseller, is there with us. Guru Prakash Paswan, national spokesperson of the BJP. Rahul Verma, senior fellow of the CPR, is here with us. Clyde Crasto, spokesperson of the NCP Sharad Pawar faction, representing the MVA tonight. So let me first bring in Clyde Crasto. Mr. Crasto, no doubt the election pivots on 2 or 3 things. Number 1, perception. Number 2, most importantly, who you pick as a candidate. And both sides, let me be very honest, have had their wrinkles, let's put it that way, in this seat allocation game. And thirdly, the person who is going to pivot, around which, the party around which, or the person around which the alliances are going to pivot. Now, how do you see, therefore, taking all these 3 into account, Mr. Crasto, the chances of the MVA?
I'll tell you, Rahul, the MVA is on a very strong footing. And when I say that, that doesn't make us complacent, nor does it make it overconfident. The fact of the matter is that what you just laid out in front of us regarding the Lok Sabha election and the voting percentage and how people voted. My point here is very simple, that the people of Maharashtra have realized what the Mahayuti is all about. I'll tell you what simple thing, very common issue that comes up is that every time the people from the Mahayuti, mainly the Bharatiya Janata Party, kept accusing people from the NCP, that is my party, or the Shiv Sena or the Congress, of corruption. constantly. You had a leader here, you still have that leader here, Mr. Kirit Somaya, who would wake up in the morning and accuse people of corruption. You know, he'll say that I'll bring a truckload of photocopies of their corruption and everything. But what happens then? You know, all these people, when they join the Bharatiya Janata Party, they are washed clean. And I will give a simple example of Mr. Ajit Pawar. 4 days before Mr. Ajit Pawar joined hands with the Bharatiya Janata Party, our Honorable Prime Minister in a rally in Bhopal accused him of 70,000 crore corruption for the irrigation scam in Maharashtra. The Bharatiya Janata Party went to town screaming hoarse that, you know, Ajit Pawar is corrupt. We were defending him. I've been on your show defending Mr. Ajit Pawar on the, you know, so-called irrigation scam. But now you take him on and then he's clean again. So the people of Maharashtra have realized that the Bharatiya Janata Party, to bring people from the other side, just simply accuse, and if they are corrupt, why have corrupt people in their party? And I can give you many names. So these are the things that the people are actually upset of. And the most important thing is the people of Maharashtra are upset by the betrayal. How the original NCP, that is my party, now led by, you know, Mr. Sharad Pawar Sahab, that party was broken. Then how the Shiv Sena led by Uddhav Balasaheb Thackeray was broken. People of Maharashtra cannot take betrayal. And that's what they proved in the Lok Sabha elections. You can see we won 30, actually 31, one person is part of our Mahavikas Aghadi. And they were decimated. So people will not accept it. At the end of the day, people have realized that the Mahavikas Aghadi is here to serve them. They're going to make sure that there's prosperity for the people of Maharashtra. Other example I can give you, as soon as this Shinde government came into functioning, they took all the big ticket projects away from Maharashtra. Now somebody asked me this question in an interview. I said, you know, they must have checked the feasibility of Gujarat being better than Maharashtra. Let me tell you something. 3 big ticket projects I can talk about. Tata Airbus, Foxconn, and Bulk Drug Park. I mean, these people, did they not do their homework before? I'm sure they did their homework. The feasibility of how good Maharashtra is. But just after they allotted it to Maharashtra, then they realized the feasibility is better in Gujarat? No. People realize that, you know, you are bringing here and taking it to Gujarat. And let me tell you, Gujarat is also part of my country. And I'm happy that they are getting it. But why take it away from Maharashtra and give it to Gujarat? You could have gone to Gujarat first. No problem about that. But why is it that after this government came into functioning, that all the big ticket projects, Vedanta, Foxconn, Tata Airbus, Bulk Drug Park, all are going back to Gujarat? So I think people somewhere have realized that this Mahayuti government is only working for their selfish interest. Okay? And last example I want to give you is, now there's big talk about Ladki Bahin Yojana. Fair enough, they are giving 1500 rupees. People are not completely happy about it. But there are leaders from the Mahayuti that are going to town and threatening the ladies, saying that you better vote us. If you do not vote us, we know how to take that money back from you. These kind of threats they are giving. So the people are upset. The ground reality is that people of Maharashtra have realized that Mahayuti led by Bharatiya Janata Party is just a hoax. They are not here for the people, and therefore they will vote for the Mahavikas Aghadi.
So these are important 4 points that have been raised by Mr. Krasto. And I want to bring in the BJP spokesperson, Mr. Paswan. Mr. Paswan, many people are saying that the politics of convenience is really your Achilles heel. I mean, Nawab Malik, your own party allies, including people within the BJP, including Shiv Sena Shinde's faction, have come out and said that he has links to Dawood Ibrahim. Yet one of your allies decides to give him a ticket from Mankur. And there are other examples that Mr. Clyde Krasto has, of course, cited, and many people have said that this corruption issue has now become a double-edged sword. People have realized that you have wielded it, but it applies to you also. There is also colored tactics that have been used to bid for power, splitting parties, etc., etc. Law of diminishing returns has kicked in, and you are not in favor. So even perceptorily, I might have, on the back of the Jammu and Haryana election, concluded that perception may be with you, even that is not in your favor, Mr. Paswan.
Rahul, a very warm good evening to you and all my fellow panelists. I was patiently listening to the points raised by the respected spokesperson of the NCP. But I think it surprises me, Rahul, and even in your initial set of observations, you said that the Bharatiya Janata Party was somewhere behind in the 2024 parliamentary election. But looking at the data, looking at the vote percentage specifically, the Bharatiya Janata Party had 43.03% and the Congress-led alliance had 43.05%. So there was hardly a difference of 0.02% when it comes to vote share. Point number one. So just to say that the ground reality is something different, the NCP or Mahavikas Agadi is speaking on behalf of the ground reality, this is something which is preposterous, has no logic, has no connection to reality. Point number one. Point number two, my friend from the NCP was talking about the development projects. I think UPA and Mr. Sharad Pawar has been a very instrumental part of the UPA. When UPA was power in the center, what was the amount that was allocated to Maharashtra in 10 years, Rahul? It was hardly 1,90,000 crore. Since 2014, since NDA has assumed power at the center, the allocation to Maharashtra has gone up 10 times, more than 10 lakh crore. When it comes to infrastructure, when it comes to connectivity, Maharashtra has been the biggest beneficiary. Point number one. Point number two, my friend from the NCP is also talking about splitting parties and the law of diminishing returns. This is beyond my comprehension. Rahul, it is very important to have a sense of history. Mr. Sharad Pawar broke away the Congress party in Maharashtra. You have Madam Neerja Chaudhary in this panel who would very well agree with this fact that it was Mr. Sharad Pawar who engineered and orchestrated the first ever major split in the history of Maharashtrian politics by splitting the Congress party. So now Mr. Sharad Pawar party is speaking about splitting of political parties. I don't know from where does this moral authority comes from. Point number two, we have to understand, Rahul, that Maharashtra is land of Baba Saheb Ambedkar. And in the land of Baba Saheb Ambedkar, when the entire Mahavikas Agadi, they are leading a misinformation campaign about the impact on the constitution. I want to ask my friend from the NCP. It is the Mahayuti government in Maharashtra that has promised, and look at the visionary direction of this policy decision, that they will give constitutional status to the Maharashtra State SC Commission. No other state. No other state, Rahul, let me put this very clear on your show tonight. No other state, including the BJP state, has shown this audacity to give constitutional status to SC Commission in the state, which is a powerful message that has gone to the Dalit communities. Point number three. We'll look at the OBC increase in the creamy layer limit from 8 lakh to 15 lakhs. Who is going to benefit? I want to ask. Who is going to benefit? It is the marginalized section. It is the women who are going to benefit from the Ladki Bahin Yojana as well. Point number three, you speak about the allocation of tickets. Rahul, we have to understand that allocation of tickets, will the Bharatiya Janata Party decide who the NCP Ajit Pawar will
No, I'm talking about a very specific. No, I'm talking about your emphasis on corruption and the compromise that you have made with that. You haven't addressed that issue, which is the big one that Clyde Crasto raised.
I'm coming to that.
One second. On that point, let Mr. Crasto also make his other point. Yes, you want to make a quick point and you can respond to both, and then I want to open this up to Neerja Chaudhary and Rahul Verma.
I want to make a quick point. The gentleman was like giving like a big talks and all. Fair enough. He spoke very well. But the point here is, I'm very happy that today he called the Bharatiya Janata Party immoral, because if he thinks or if he says that we broke parties and we are immoral, which is not the truth, that means I'm happy. I mean, I commend his guts that he's called
so
the
what about
Party
you're being accused of
Devendra Fadnavis.
Okay, so you're being accused of what about
so Devendra Fadnavis,
Mr. Paswan? They did it, so we can do it.
That's what.
Right. No. Okay, so let him
answer.
So
Devendra Fadnavis, he's accusing Devendra Fadnavis of being immoral because Devendra Fadnavis went on record to say that I broke parties.
Okay, let him answer.
One more thing. I just want to ask a question. One question. My question is,
Sir, I did not speak.
Is Anand Kumar Hegde not the part of the BJP?
Okay.
This debate is such an encouraging
debate. Okay.
Let's have a very civil debate.
Okay, gentlemen, don't speak over each other. I understood. We can come back. No problems. Let's very quickly, Mr. Paswan, make your point. Yes. Yeah. Make your point. Respond.
Very simple point. Very simple point, Rahul, which I want to convey. I said that it is important to have a sense of history. Mr. Sharad Pawar is the Sargana when it comes to splitting political parties.
No, but that's what about
established fact.
They did it, so we can do it.
One point. Rahul, एक बात बोलने दीजिए ना. Rahul, one point.
Okay.
Rahul, I will not let him speak. Rahul, I did not speak when he was speaking.
Gentlemen, don't speak over each other.
Rahul, I will not speak when he was speaking.
Yeah, okay, Mr. Paswan, go ahead.
The spokesperson from the splitter in chief is heckling when other people are speaking. This is not allowed. Rahul, point number two. Rahul, I have to speak, bhai.
Yes,
No,
go
no,
ahead.
Rahul, one last point, and I will end my submission.
Yeah.
I have to quote from Baba Sahib Ambedkar. He has written in his thesis, Thoughts on Linguistic States in 1955. Very simple point, which Baba Sahib Ambedkar has said, and my friend from the NCP might agree or disagree. Baba Sahib Ambedkar says, and I quote, that the Congress High Command did not value Maharashtrian leadership at all. In support of all this, he illustrated the example of selection of Chief Minister. He says further that the Congress party favored a Gujarati Morarji Desai over a Maharashtrian leader, and therefore Congress never cultivated Maharashtrian leadership within the politics of Maharashtra. It is the observation of Baba Sahib Ambedkar in Thoughts on Linguistics since 1955.
Right,
Now today, Mr. Sharad Pawar goes and sits in the same Congress party, in the lap of Congress party, who never
Okay, but that
actually
alliance has been
respected
around for
Maharashtrian
a...
leadership.
Okay,
I
now
want to
that-
ask him.
No, 1 second. That alliance now has been around for a long time.
30 seconds, please.
No, I just want to open this up now. Gentlemen,
That
please.
doesn't mean that we should not be discussing history.
No,
Rahul.
1 second.
My request to you, Rahul.
Okay, 30 seconds. Yes, sir. 30 seconds.
Just a request.
Yeah.
30 seconds.
Yeah.
You know, the BJP spokesperson has not answered your question on corruption. So, should I gather that the Honorable Prime
I have
Minister, when he
answered your
accused
question, sir.
Ajit Pawar of
Bhrashtachaar ke
corruption of
sargana.
70,000 crores and took him
Bhrashtachaar
on,
ke sargana
Okay,
is asking
gentlemen,
on
gentlemen,
corruption.
gentlemen.
Bhrashtachaar ke
Then you
sargana,
are-
Mr.
listen,
Sharad Pawar.
if you're going to talk in between,
Okay,
I can
please,
talk better than
please,
you.
please,
Bhrashtachaar
please.
ke sargana is
Gentlemen, this is a high profile election.
the taste of your own blood.
No, 1 second now, gentlemen, please, please.
me
I know
30
this is,
seconds, Rahul.
I know this is a high-profile election, and both sides have a lot at
I need my
stake.
30 seconds, Rahul.
On that, Mr. Crasto, quickly finish your point,
30
please.
seconds.
Just finish your point on the corruption issue.
Yeah, my
Yes.
point is very quick.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I hope I don't get interjected. My point is, when the Honorable Prime Minister calls Ajit Pawar corrupt and then takes him on, does
Fair
that
enough.
mean he's supporting corruption? Answer that
Answer
question.
that point directly.
Hassan Mushrif,
Mr.
Gagan
Paswan,
Bhujbal,
answer that-
Dhananjay Munde,
Okay,
all these people
he's
are
answering
accused
the
of
question
corruption.
now, Mr. Crasto,
Why
listen.
you going with that?
Okay,
Nawab,
answer the
Nawab
question.
Malik was accused of
Okay,
underworld-
Mr. Crasto, please don't let me...
Answer.
Bhrashtachaar ke sargana, splitter in chief.
Okay.
Bhrashtachaar ke sargana, splitter in chief. As far as the question of
the man
Ajit
is
Pawar is
frustrated, he's
concerned,
screaming.
the investigation
Okay,
is
now
still going on.
I'm stepping
We
in
don't
now.
have certificates on that.
I'm not getting a clear answer. Lower everyone's faders, please. This is not fair. I'm not getting a clear answer. There is a lot of whataboutery. If they did it, we can do it, so and so forth. I don't know, viewers, if that really is the answer here. The answer should be that we draw a line because we stand for a particular cause and it is central to our identity. That I'm not getting. But nonetheless, viewers, it's not about us tonight. It's also about the voter and what they are going to look at. And Neerja Chaudhary, let me bring you in. There are issues, but do the issues cancel each other out? Now, you've just got a sample of that. You've heard both sides accuse each other of the same thing, certain degree of whataboutery on both sides. So these issues cancel each other out. What really is going to be the voter's approach? What is he going to look out for?
Look, if you look at it as a debating points, and you say one argument cancels out the other. But that's not the way things happen. Certain issues have traction and certain issues do not have traction. Now, this thing of Morarji Desai, it's very interesting that Morarji Desai was favored over a Maharashtra leader. That's a story of decades ago. Today, India, 65% of India is under 35. They have a fading memory of Indira Gandhi. Forget Morarji Desai and when he became Prime Minister. So, what are the issues today? Broadly, if I were to put it, oversimplifying everything, I would say, on the one hand, yes, MBA has the advantage because it won 30 out of 48 seats, but but assembly elections are not like Lok Sabha elections. Let's be very clear, other issues kick in. And one side is sympathy for the MVA and anti-incumbency against Mahayuti, which includes, corruption and all the other things that naturally pile up in 5 years. And on the other side, the Mahayuti is, and the sympathy is for two reasons here, Rahul. If you'll give me 1 minute to say that. Sympathy is not only because of the split in the Shiv Sena and the NCP, which many people did not like in Maharashtra, but it is also sympathy for the leaders of the Shiv Sena and Sharad Pawar. And this showed up in the Lok Sabha election. Uddhav Thackeray, who they saw ran the state fairly well, reasonably well in the COVID times. And Sharad Pawar, this old man at 84, campaigning all over, probably the tallest figure in the MVA and probably in Maharashtra today. and probably his last election, but he's going all guns blazing. And there is a little bit of that sympathy. Now, I don't know whether that sympathy, which manifested itself during the Lok Sabha election, has spent itself out, has diluted, has weakened. We don't know. We will see. But on the other side is one game changer, which you keep hearing about, which is part of the social welfare SOPs that and schemes that Eknath Shinde's government has put out. And we know Mukhyamantri Majha Ladki Bahen Yojana. And if you talk to people, money is coming to their hands, whether it's 4,500 rupees, whether it's 7,500 rupees, how much of a game changer, but it certainly will have an impact. Now, does it make up for the losses that the Mahayuti stands to suffer? That we will see, because there are women who said, will it continue after the elections? Is it only an election ploy? Will they have the money to continue? Those kind of voices are also being heard. So today, if one was to sum up the situation in Maharashtra, I would say it's not like the Lok Sabha elections, where it was a runaway success for MBA. It is much more of a takkar.
Much more of a takkar. Rahul Verma, how do you see the issues and how do you see the various alliances, now the two main alliances really, tackling them? Because there is the issue of corruption, no doubt about it. Many people have been, it's on all these so-called surveys, it does feature up there. There's also economic, a certain degree of economic woe that creeps in. And there is also this sort of conversation around reservations, etc. So how do you see these issues?
Thank you, Rahul. First, to start off with, you asked where will I put my money on? I will certainly not put my money anywhere, especially what happened after 2024 elections and Haryana results. I think one should be cautious where to put money on Indian elections. Second, I think the conversation which we just heard and what is happening in Maharashtra is a symptom of larger problem in Indian politics. Basically, we are talking about nothing in that sense. No party can take a moral high ground on any of the issue we are talking about, certainly not on corruption and certainly not on splitting parties. They should be rather worried about a state in serious decline. Think of Maharashtra being a state which was like financially and economically much ahead of many of the states 30 years back. And it's in decline in these 30 years. And both alliances or both parties have to take responsibility for this. Social identities are raising their heads. You are seeing the largest sort of like most dominant group mobilizing itself for reservation. And so in some ways, Maharashtra is in a backward mode. And I don't think they are talking about some of those things. Just to sort of like conclude on the conversation about Lok Sabha election seat share in one direction, vote share being closed. Actually, what happened in Maharashtra, if you divide the state into 6 regions, each region has a very specific dynamic. While the BJP-led alliance did really well, or at least led in terms of vote share in Thane, Konkan belt, in Mumbai region, the Congress led in Vidarbha, and the NCP Sarad Pawar faction did really well in Western Maharashtra and Marathwada. So the only way, if say NDA has to or Mahayuti has to flip this election, they have to first, BJP on its own, do really well in Vidarbha and have to give a tougher fight in Marathwada. Otherwise, this election is gone from their hands. And if the Mahavikas Aghadi wants to sort of like make sure that they come to par, they need to figure out the Mumbai, Thane, Konkan belt because there they sort of like lagged in terms of votes.
Okay, that's very, very interesting. Viewers, are we really looking at a bit part election? 6 regions that will perhaps vote differently? And will we be seeing the most decentralized election where it's actually the candidate that brings in the vote across 288 seats? Not so much the party, not so much the ideology, but the candidate. Will it all come down really to candidate selection, to that other part which we don't get to encounter, the nitty-gritty back maneuvering part that will deliver a verdict for both the fronts? We don't know, viewers, but perhaps that might just be it. 6 elections region-wise and 288 verdicts. Is that really what we are looking at? I'll leave it at this, viewers.